We want to welcome the CEO of 3Believe, Jason Whitney. Jason, it's all yours. Tell us all the exciting news.
Hello, everybody. Glad that you could take the time to come and share some time with us, learn about some stuff. We've got some different messages that we're going to go over today. We're going to go over a topic we talked about last week, which is the application and applicants for the 3Believe Freedom Train training. And I'll talk about that. Before that, I wanted to, now I have to admit, I wanted to print off a picture so that those that are on the webinar could see it, but I didn't have enough time. I was studying. Oh man, this Freedom Train thing is put my staff and myself into just a study marathon. It is 7 o'clock p.m. We've been up since 6:30 this morning working on it. It's just day in, day out. I got to tell you, I'm excited. I'm exhausted. I really am. But I am energized. I'm excited. You guys are just keeping me alive with all the things that I'm anxious to share with you. Now, I know that's kind of a hard thing for you to appreciate because you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sitting here with this master plan of all this content, and you don't know what I'm talking about. But I can't tell you yet because simply that's the magic of joining and being part of the Freedom training program. So I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, and that's going to be hard for me to do. But I just want you to know I'm really, really excited. I'm not one of those that gets real excited about certain things. Like, if I see a movie star or a famous person in the airport or at an event, I don't know why. I don't get excited about it. They're just another person. This kind of stuff, overcoming metabolic syndrome, helping somebody get rid of a life-threatening tragedy or dumping the issues of type 2 diabetes and losing 60 pounds is just, it gives me goosebumps, I got to tell you. And helping people get out of financial distress is all just, it's exciting. I love this stuff. Gets me going. So, first thing, I want to tell you about something that humbles me. It gets me excited, but it humbles me at the same time. In that, I never take for granted the power of that product right over my left shoulder here. Those of you that have been with us since we started. Now remember, we've been in this business for 10 years. We've been serving doctors and clinics, and I was a little bit naive when I started this division of serving you directly, serving partners, in having you go out and find other people that want to get involved with overcoming metabolic syndrome, and then also wanting to build a home-based online business. I got to tell you, I was a lot naive. I mean, think about what I had. I had 10 years of research already done. At that time, it was 9 years. Clinical studies. I've worked with doctors, the best in their field, PhDs. We had the science down. We had the product down. We had our labeling down. And when I shipped out to these doctors, I'd ship out pallets, 800, 600, 1,000 pounds of product at one time. And I just thought, well, we'll change the product label, we'll change it to 3Believe, and instead of shipping, 1,000 pounds, we'll ship 10 pounds. How hard can that be? Oh my, how hard? It's been an arduous, tortuous journey, but you have kept me going. The stories that you keep sending in has inspired me. I was naive in that it took more work. The humbling part comes when I get this email, and it's not the first time I've heard it. And some of you that are listening are ones that said it, and I don't get angry with you. I am humbled and grateful for you. And this person said, Jason, this has happened 3 or 4 times, and it was something silly. Not on her side. It was silly on our part. Like we couldn't get the problem solved. We shipped it to the wrong address, or she wanted chocolate and we shipped her vanilla. She wanted a P6 and we shipped her P22. Dumb stuff, simple stuff that we should know better. But remember, when we're shipping product, we're shipping cases of P6, not individual ones. And we're shipping to, a few hundred doctors, not, hundreds and hundreds of individual addresses. In my head, how hard can that be? But functionally, it was a little bit of a challenge. So she says, this has happened like 3 or 4 times. I got to tell you, if it wasn't for the quality of the product, if it didn't do what you said it would do, and if it didn't taste the way it does, I would have quit. I would have gone to somebody else, but I can't. You looped us into this thing because nobody else makes what you make. And that's where the humility comes in. I'm amazed at that stuff right there. I got to tell you, I wish I could take all the credit. There is a tremendous amount of perspiration that went into that, but mostly inspiration. Just knowledge that I just didn't have. I didn't know what studies to go and pull. I read 600. There's over 20,000 that have been done on the treatment of metabolic syndrome. 20,000, and how did I get 600? Why did I pick this one over that one? I'm telling you, it was inspiration. That's all I can blame it on. And for it to put out this product that does so many things, I'm still finding out things and remedies and benefits that it provides. I'm humbled. It's a better product than I can put out. So I thank you for your patience. We're getting so much better. I mean, it's a long time since we've had major problems. We've really got our shipping issues all but solved. We just implemented our new Ship Caddy. That doesn't mean a lot for you, but it's just a software program that notice that you're getting cheaper prices on shipping. It's organizing it. It's just a few tweaks here and there now and then, but man, we've come a long ways. The labeling is done. We're just having to get the professional printer to get the final batch out, and then we're done. That's cool. And you've stuck with us. Some of you don't know. You haven't been with us. I started this a year ago with you guys. January is when I first started, and I gotta tell you, thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say, except for just feel and my appreciation and gratitude. So now we're coming into a new phase, and this new phase is about sharing the message. Now, I have been tempting you with information these last several months. I've been telling you, I promise you that I'm building not only a program that will help the body, but I'm building a program that has never been seen before, never been marketed with any MLM or any affiliate program. No home-based business has ever done what we're doing. And but I didn't let it out of the bag. And you know the reason why I didn't is I was nervous. I was afraid. I didn't want to say it and then have it be more bunk, more nonsense. You see, I've been looking for 6 years for a marketing plan. I've been telling people 50,000. I added it up. It's closer to $60,000 now that I've invested in how to market online. The secret is someone knows it, obviously, because you hear these stories every once in a while. This person's making that, and he, rags to riches in 15 minutes. And how did he do it? How did she make all this? It's a mystery, and it has been a mystery. I've hired the largest online ad agency in the West, excluding LA. LA had a bigger one, but including the West. I hired them, paid a bunch of money. They didn't know. They couldn't fix it. They just shrugged their shoulders and said, I don't know, it's not working. All our, you know, we read in our little book and we said to do this and do that, and it wasn't, obviously the recipe didn't work. And so, wow, I'm grateful that I just was tenacious and just didn't give up. I just kept looking and looking and looking and asking and reading books and ordering stuff online and asking people, and I've come across this group, this corral of experts, and I've pleaded with them. I've literally begged them, please help me. And I pleaded your case to them, meaning I didn't call you by name, but I said, I got these people that are relying on me. I told them that I had an answer, that I was working on something, and so you gotta help me come through for them. So it's not just me; it's hundreds of other people that really want an answer to not only metabolic syndrome. I got that handled. Don't help me with that. But the marketing side, you got to help me. Help them. Kind of the, Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you. So, here we are. Last week, I introduced you to this program called the 3Believe Freedom Training Program. And it is designed to accomplish my goal. Now, I haven't told very many people this goal, but I got to let it out. I have, my goal for metabolic syndrome. My goal is to cure North America of the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. Now, what that means is to have it no longer be an epidemic rated condition in United States. That's my goal. So, that's a big task, I know. But the only way I can do that is I got to have you and thousands others just like you doing the same thing that I'm doing. I just can't do it by myself. So that's how I'm roping you into my goal. The other goal is I want to have a program, a company that has more people making $100,000. It's actually $10,000 a month, so it's a little more than $100,000. $10,000 a month, and my goal is 100,000 people. Now, I've told that to a couple of people, and their eyes kind of open up like, okay, you're actually certifiably insane. That's a lot of people. Okay, I know it's a lot. But I'm going to tell you a story. Where's my calculator? Here. So I'm going to tell you what that means. So I've got sorry, I'm doing some math here. Just bear with me. Divided by 12. Okay, 83. So 100 and divided by 10. Okay. All right. So my goal is to get 100,000 people that are making $10,000 a month. Now, why $10,000 and why not $1 million? Because I used to be a financial planner, and I've learned through Financial Planner magazine, the stuff that we read, or I used to read, is that there is greater social economic benefit by having more people with a little more money than they're making than a few people making a lot more money. Because the fact is when I go in to, here I got a camera. So when I go into the store to buy this camera, all right, this is a Nikon D3300. I think I paid like, I don't know, $600 or $700 for this camera. It's a nice camera, does video and stuff. If I'm making $1 million a year, how many of these can I buy? Now I can go buy a more expensive camera, and there's cameras, professional grade, that I can spend $20,000 on. But how many cameras can I really buy? You see, the difference is when I have when I have a person that makes $10,000 a month, they can afford to buy this camera, like a millionaire can buy this camera. And the trickle down economics is that the people that help make this camera and the shipper that ships the raw materials to your manufacturer is jobs, and that's more economic support. And it's the shipping company that ships the product when it's done to the stores, and then it's the people at the store that are working to sell the camera, and then there's the advertising agency that's used to advertise the camera. And you get my point? My point is when I'm having 100,000 people that can afford to buy this camera instead of a handful of millionaires that can buy this camera, it impacts your community more. When you have a millionaire going to go fill up their car to buy gas, the people working in the convenience store and the hauler and the distributor hauling the gas for that millionaire's car and for the $100,000 or the $10,000 air a month car, it's the same gallons of car, right? But it's helping more people. That's the economics of why, one of the reasons why I want to get more people at $100,000 or $10,000 a month. So, can that be done? Yes, I think it can. And this is why. The reason why I'm bringing you into the freedom train is because I know absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, that this can be accomplished. Because there's people that are already doing it. And I found those mentors, those masters of marketing on social media. And they have agreed to let me make them my mentor and to teach me and to teach my staff. And I'm just taking the stuff that we already have, and as we're learning, because we're in courses that just is ever ongoing, we're getting the new information because the internet's changing all the time. A few years ago, AdWords were the big deal on Google. And so you don't need to know what AdWords is. It's just a way of advertising and getting traffic and getting customers into your page and buying stuff, right? Well, now AdWords aren't the big deal. It's too expensive. Something else is better. And so when the thing that's hot right now is no longer hot because a company comes up with a new approach and a new software and a new gadget, then that'll be hot. And these experts are the ones that keep ahead of the groove and that will inform me, and then I'll inform you. So we'll always be on the cutting edge. So that's my commitment, is to continue to pay them money. Money that I know that a lot of you cannot and will not pay. And so I'll pay it for you or for us so that all of us can benefit, because you're going to help me achieve my goals. And when you help me achieve my goals, by me helping you achieve your goals, I'll have everything I need. That's the logic, and it's been proven to work. So my reason, again, is going back to why can this be achievable? Well, one of the mentors that we have is a guy. His name's Russell. Okay, and he's teaching us a certain niche. Now you'll hear me mention names, Billy and Dennis and Russell and Mark and different names. And the reason why I'm not just going to one person is because I've learned that, like most things in life, or especially in a business, that each person kind of focuses on a certain little niche area. And the internet is so big, meaning it is so dynamic that the internet is not just one thing. You can't just say, oh, I know how to market on the internet. You got to pull them. That's like saying, I know how to cook food. Well, what kind of food? There's all kinds of cuisine. You know, there's Southwestern, and there's Mexican, and there's Tex-Mex, and there's, Spanish dishes, and there's Spaniard dishes, and there, you get my point, right? So you can't just say, I'm a cook and I know how to cook food. And so when you're talking about the internet, I need to provide you an expert in these crucial areas, and they all specialize in their own little niche. Okay, Russell focuses on a certain niche, and so his goal was similar to mine, is that he wanted people to be more successful online marketing. And so he started out with his little niche, one that you'll learn through our Freedom Train, and he one day thought, well, I wonder how many people we've had that have been using our techniques. He launched it 2 years ago, right? And how many are making $1 million or are millionaires? And so he had his staff go and check, and so they have how many are selling over $1 million worth of products through their program, by the use of their program. Because of his program, he can check that stuff, right? So the guy came back and says, "It's you're not gonna believe this. It's 53 the first year." And he goes, "Oh my, that is so much more than I thought." Well, that was 2 years ago. They're now at 51. Now they're at 93 millionaires in less than 2 years. Last month, they had 11 in that 1 month. So there's 93 millionaires that have been generated through this program. So here's my deal. I'm not looking to create you be a millionaire. You can be a millionaire. You just take what we're doing and just multiply it, right? But if they can do 93 millionaires in 2 years, well, we can do well over 100 times that in 2 years, because they didn't have the product that we did. It was just a product. It didn't save lives, right? It wasn't a consumable product that they had to buy every month, like food. So we have some tremendous benefits. We can do this. And with the rising tide, it raises all ships, right? Well, each one of us is that ship, and it'll raise our health, it'll raise our contribution to our community, and it'll raise the value of our net worth. So that is a goal, and I want you to be part of it. So let's talk more about those. I'm holding in my hand 5 accepted applications. Now, last week you received an application that had 6 steps, 1 through 6. And I had a little story, cute little story. Hopefully it motivated some of you. It just told you a little bit about me, about some of my fears and some of the things that I was afraid of. And that's one thing I'll promise you, is I'm going to be completely transparent. I'll tell you more than you want to hear, probably. And then I told you, I can't, for example, for this class, I couldn't accept 275 people. And I can't do it. Our staff, we're not equipped to handle that many people at one time, because all you're going to have is questions, and you want to talk on the phone a little bit. And so I can't do that many. So I had to qualify the group. It wasn't because you're not important. All of you are to me. But the fact is, not all of you are ready. And also, not all of you want to be able to make money on the internet. So some of you just want to use the product. That's fine. That's great. Okay? Nothing against that. So I asked you to fill out the 6 steps. But you had to do it a certain way. Well, so far, only 5 have done that. So I rewrote it today, made it a little bit more precise. In my mind, I hope that you get it, but I hope it was clear enough. I hope I did a good job. I refined it a little bit more. I made it more clear in what I'm looking for. So let me read off the people that we have. The number 1 person that filled in correctly the application was Carrie Scott. And she's been accepted into the group, so congratulations, Carrie. Wow, I can't wait to all the stuff that you guys are going to learn. The next one was Mervyn Haig. Thanks, Merv. I know that Merv's on the call tonight. The other one is Bernie Atwater. Welcome, Bernie. Congratulations. You did a great job of filling this out. Then I had Robert Price. Number 4. Now, Robert, I want to talk about Robert for a second. Robert kind of went above the Call of Duty here, but I love this. I just absolutely love it. So Bernie said, and I was a little worried, because at the top of the email that came through, it just had his address, and then it had, "Hello, this is for Jason." Then some more spaces, and it said, "This is a Freedom Train Test Believe video." Well, what is that? And then he had 2 videos, not just one, had 2 of them, and then the steps that he filled out were below the page. I didn't see it at first. I'm like, oh, I got another one that didn't fill it out right. Man, I wish I would have written those instructions better. But I scrolled down. He filled it out perfectly. He did great. I want to read step 4, Bernie, or I mean, Robert. I hope you don't mind. Just know that if you're going to send it to me, unless you tell me, do not share this with anybody. It's fair game. I'm sharing it. Okay? So, step 4. I have tried numerous weight programs to no avail. I've been on 3Believe program for 4 months and have lost 60 pounds. Do you know how much 60 pounds is? That is a ton of weight. No pun intended. My blood pressure dropped as the weeks went by, and I was recommended to stop using by my doctor my blood pressure medications. I'm 70 years old. Correction, I'm sorry. I'm 70 years young and plan to continue on the 3Believe program until the Lord calls me. It's great. And what he did is he gave me this video, and it was about 5.5 minutes. And the video talked about, he sat in a nice chair, and he had a bag of the CMR. He had some of the oil there, had a shaker bottle. I think maybe he had some of the flavoring there too. What a great presentation. Then he just told a story. It was great. Robert, great call. We're going to use that. That'll be a great tool. I'll show you how to use that in the marketing that we'll be doing. Great. Then he did another video. Even though he did it as an audio, it just showed a picture of the before and after. I got to tell you, you've seen those pictures where it's just, the guy is larger and now he's smaller. I got Robert, you look so much younger. It was amazing. One thing that we haven't talked a lot about that I thought was interesting, he talked about that sounded like he was a little bit worried that as he lost all this weight, because when you lose 60 pounds, you're going to have some sagging skin, especially when you're 70 years old. I mean, the skin just is not the same as a 5-year-old child. Doesn't have the same elasticity. The collagen is diminished. And he was worried that you'd have all this hanging skin. And he referenced his neck as he was talking. He kind of went like this on his chin. And he said, after a while, my skin tightened up and my arms tightened up, my belly tightened up. It all tightened back up. Now, that's one reason why that is that's because of that oil. I'm telling you, do not skimp on that omega oil. That is a magic in so many areas. Robert, keep on taking that oil because that's what brought that back for you. That and the proteins rebuilt some of that collagen, the elasticity in your skin. So good job. You look so much younger. I mean, I got to tell you, there's at least 20 years younger in that picture that I saw. So good job. You did a great thing there, Robert. That's number 4. And then number 5 is Donald Kiewit. I'm sorry, Donald, if or Kiewit. I'm going to go back to Kiewit. Apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he did it correctly. Welcome into the group. I love your answers. You did it right. Now that's 5. We can take more than 5. I need more than 5 to accomplish my goals. I don't have a number. I'm not going to tell you what it is. We have till the 10th. If you notice on the end of the email, it says that we'll be accepting applications till the 10th. I've learned that not everyone has got the email. So if you've enrolled anybody in 3Believe, call them up, send them an email, and just tell them about the program. Forward it to them. Make sure that they know. This may be exactly what they're looking for. You don't know. But we'll do other classes. But I got to tell you, I don't know what it's going to be. It might be a month. It might be 6 months. I don't know. I just promise it'll be another one. But you don't want to miss the opportunity or have them miss it. So share the news. Tell them to make sure that they get the second email. If you're going to get a second email of instructions. Went out this afternoon. Forward that one to them, not the first one, because the second one's more clear. Okay, and then verbally tell them you have to answer all 6 steps. You can't just say I want to do weight loss and I'm in. You got to. I want you to number them in your email back to me. Number them step 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, and then answer it. Give me the what I'm looking for, and the 2 criteria that I'm really looking for here too is your why has to be big enough. Why am I emphasizing in your why, whatever you're choosing, it has to be big enough, because the size of your why is the only thing that can stand up and fight against your fear. Now, your fear is not the same as mine. And so my solutions are not always going to be able to battle your why, but battle your fear. But if your why is big enough, then your fear will shrink to it. Trust me, this works. I'm going to give you some examples here, but you got to believe me. This is not a roll of the dice thing. If you follow the procedure step by step, in fact, there's going to be a lot of steps in how to become making $10,000 or $1 million or whatever number. If you can't follow the steps 1 through 6, then it's going to be a little hard for you to follow the steps of how to market online. So I kind of tease you with that a little bit, but just follow those steps. We'll give it to you. We'll spoon feed it to you. We're not going to give you more than you can handle, but just follow those steps. And if you didn't get into the first group, it's just because you weren't ready. Your why wasn't big enough, or your level of determination, wherever you are on the letters of how determined, how willing you are to do what's necessary, and maybe it wasn't big enough. Let me give you a hint. At the bottom one that says, sign me up for the second one, yeah, it's got to be higher than that, all right? So sign in. I mean, here's an example. Here's one. It's in the top 5 things in my life. That was a good one. Here's another one. But this one's, it says only God, family, and country will come first. That's pretty darn good. I got another one like that. And then I got, I'm all in. I'll do whatever it takes. And then the other one is another one. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm all in. So those are examples of what we're looking for. And you'll succeed. Now, let me talk about how sure I am of this process. So one of the guys that we're learning from, he took, that's our mentor. You know, he's been down in the trenches right along with you and me. He was suffering. He was going to school full time as an athlete, couldn't make any money. I mean, he didn't have time to do both, and he felt really bad. You know, he took the role of being a husband and taking care of his wife and family pretty seriously, but his wife was the one who was out working, making money. You know, and she was a young college student, so she couldn't pull down some major dollars, and they were living, you know, rice and beans type of a lifestyle, and he just wanted to make just $1,000. That was his goal. If I could make just $1,000 a month, I would, man, that would be so awesome. I'd feel much better, and my wife wouldn't have to be so stressed. And so, have any of you heard about a spud gun? Okay, what this is it's just a plastic tube, and you shoot potatoes out of it. It's just the dumbest thing. I mean, you got it, and they call it a spud gun. So you have this accelerant, like for example, you'd use compressed air, like hairspray. And I don't know exactly how it works, but basically you put it down in there, and then you seal it, and you pull the trigger, and it shoots this potato far distance. Well, he wasn't even selling the potato gun. He was just selling the way to make a good gun. And here's the topics, right? He'll do a video on how to make a spud gun without blowing your fingers off, without getting hurt, how to shoot your spud gun twice as far, how to shoot, and he just go on and on about this. This guy goes through and learned this technique. I won't give you all the story of how much pain he went through, but he was making $250,000 a year. Selling not spud guns, not actually items, but the information of how to make your own spud gun. Are you kidding me? That is unbelievable. Well, some things changed, like the market will change. The internet changes sometimes. That all changed and went crashing down. So now he's back to zero again. So he built it back up, and then he crashed again. And then he built it back up again, and this one's more of a foundational issue. The internet doesn't have any impact. Or if it changes, their system adapts to it. So after he came across this last one, they went from $0 to $10 million in 1 year, and then they went from 10 million to 30 million the second year. All right. Now I want you to put this in perspective. This was a product that it was a software package that they pay every month. Okay. So they don't buy it and then install it in their computer. It's reoccurring. So it cost them $100 a month for this program, and they made $10 million the first year. So where's my calculator? So that's $10 million. $10 million. I hate calculators that don't have the the little commas. Divided by 12. All right, 833,000 divided by $100. Okay, so we had 8,300 people. Okay, in the sense of the internet, that's not a lot of people, right? So he had 8,300 people his first year buying this software program, paying $100 a month. And then they grew up, they doubled it, and then that's a little over 16,000 people. And then they increased it by another 10 million. So they have now about 30,000 people that are buying this program every month, paying this money every month, right? This is the size of the internet. There's no reason why any one of you can't do that. Now, I'm not telling you that because I want that to be your goal. I'm not telling you that for you to say, okay, my goal is I want to do $30 million. I want to sell $30 million worth of 3Believe products. By the way, for us, it would be a third as many people, so you'd only need 10,000 people. 10,000 people to do $10 million or $30 million worth of product. That'd be more money than you'd know what to do with. That'd be a lot of money, right? But there's people in affiliate programs, and there's people in MLMs that have 10,000 people in their group. Oh yeah, there are more. Many. I know of one personally. It's a good friend of mine, and he has them all around the world. And in one country, he has over 30,000 people, something like 35, 39,000, just in one country. Okay, so I know that it's possible. It's very possible. But the difference is that he did that through a person that did that through a person that did that through a person, and that down the line. Russell here did this front line, him to that person. He didn't sell his program through affiliate. The reason I tell you that story is that is the power of two things I want you to write down in your mind. One, the power and immense size of the internet. It is gigantic. There are so many people out there that want what we have. The other one is the effectiveness of this program that you're going to learn. You could do that, just you. I'm not saying that that should be your goal. I just want to impress upon you that there is plenty of room in this gigantic sea of commerce on the internet. And we already know that there's people, that the people out there that need our help is gigantic. Over 8 out of 10 people that live need our help with metabolic syndrome. So that's how big it is. That's how big the opportunity is. This is very possible. I had a person ask me today, how big could this be? How much money could I make? Now, and I told him, I said, this may sound like a cliche, but as much money as you want, literally as much money as you want. But I don't want money to be your goal. I'm asking you to make money be a byproduct of something more valuable. And that is, you've heard this adage, you'll get everything that you've ever wanted if you help enough people get the things that they want. If you can help enough people to get healthy, if you can help enough people lose their weight, to help them, like Bob, get off his blood pressure. Now, honestly, how much do you think, he was also type 2 diabetic, okay? How grateful do you think he is? Not to me, but to this program. And to the person that referred him to this program. And this is in his life. Because now he's 60 pounds lighter. His knee doesn't hurt. His skin doesn't sag. He doesn't take the blood pressure medication. And he's no longer type 2 diabetic. I mean, his blood sugar levels are sitting right around 90. And that's no longer type 2 diabetes. How grateful do you think he is? Make that your goal. Help people achieve the same desires that the guys like Bob wanted. And there's millions and millions and millions of them. So many of them that we don't need all that money, but we need to help them. And you have the answer. And you can reach them through this program. So there are two ways, or really two segments, that we're going to advertise to, or you have as far as a demographic or a customer base. You have the people that suffer from metabolic syndrome. And that's why I'm asking you to pick one. I'll show you how to market to all of them eventually, but I want you to start with just one. So out of that list that I sent you of the symptoms of metabolic syndrome, I want you just to pick one. I suggest that you pick one that you particularly feel a kinship with. Like for Bob, he has a couple to choose from. He can talk about being overweight. He can talk about type 2 diabetes. He can talk about his blood pressure. He can talk about his sore knee. He can talk about several different things, right? Now, he chose, if I remember right, he chose being overweight. Now, I wonder if he chose overweight because, I'm just looking here while we're talking. I wonder if it's because, yep, it is, overweight and obesity, because when you when you deal with the cause of obesity, all right, and being overweight, then you also remedy the cause of high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. Smart thinking, Bob. So that's not the case with all diets. I can't tell you how many people that have lost the weight, they had all those symptoms that I talked about. They're type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and overweight. They lose the weight and they're still on the others. Why? Because all they did is lose the weight. They lost muscle mass and hydration. They didn't lose the insulin resistance. They didn't lose the fatty liver. They just lost the weight and the skin just sags on them. Looks terrible. I mean, it looks better that they're not, overweight, but they look like they just climbed out of the swimming pool with a sweater on, and sweaters just sag when they're wet. And that's terrible. That's because they didn't deal with the source of the problem, which ours does. So maybe that's why Bob did that. That's a great program. But I want you to pick one that you just feel associated with. It doesn't have to be you that has diabetes. Maybe it was a family member that's sick from it, or that even died from it. That's a great motivating cause or issue. Okay? So that's what I'm looking for, is you focus on those issues. You help enough people get off those issues and remedy those issues, then the money's just secondary. You can't stop it from coming. And then the last one, here's the second group, is people that want to make money on the internet. So you can market to people, and we're not looking for people that want to sell necessarily 3Believe. Just you're selling the program, the training that we're teaching on how to be or learn the same things that you're learning. Now, I'm going to tell you, here's the secret plan. Because our product works so well, and because, let me even ask you, if you had a person that was marketing spud guns, potato launchers, and they came into the program and they came in under you, and you're going to teach them how to market their spud gun on the internet. And every week they're listening to your course, the same one that you're going to learn, and the example that we're giving them, because I'll show you examples from week to week of what we're doing exactly. We'll show you the progress. We'll show you, look how well this one did, and look how many sales we made, and how many visitors we had, and look at the progress. You'll see that, and we'll actually use you guys as study cases. And this person with the spud guns watching this, and they're looking and going, yeah, I did the same thing. I did the same program, and I did get more sales, but man, I didn't get the same kind of sales that they're bragging about. What in the world am I doing different? Well, you're selling a spud gun. How many people in the world wake up in the morning and just go, I can't go to work today. I got to get a potato launcher, for heaven's sakes. It doesn't happen. But how many people wake up in the morning and say, I got to lose some weight. I don't feel very good. My doctor wants to put me on more medication for type 2 diabetes. I can't have that anymore. There's a lot more people, with 80% of our population want that. 80% don't want a potato launcher. So without even marketing to them, they'll look at yours and say, I want to do yours. I'm learning the content, how to do it already, but I just need a better product. And you'll already have it available to them. It's pretty genius. And that will be in your arsenal. So tonight, you notice I focused on the Freedom Train. Why did I call it the Freedom Train? Because one, it will take you to a new destination that you've never been to. It'll give you things that many of you have only wished and hoped for. Also, is a lot of destinations. It will be a place that you've never been before. It might be uncomfortable and new. Don't be afraid, because you're with friends. You're with us. You're not there alone. And whenever you travel with people to a place that you've never gone to, it's not a strange place anymore. It's not fearful. They call that a vacation. And we're going to go to this vacation place of knowledge, of opportunity, and it won't be by yourself. And just like all trains, it departs from the station. It's not going to be there forever. So for right now, that train's going to stay in station for 10 days. Correction, till the 10th of this month. Till the 10th of this month, that gives us 3 more days. You've got that much time to send in your application, right? Fill it out completely. Answer all 1 through 6 steps. And anybody else that's in your group. Now, don't worry about them taking your place, because everybody that fills it out correctly will accept. Okay? I just may not extend it beyond the 10th because we have enough. So govern yourselves accordingly. Do not be silent on this one. Now, I've told you to share before. I'm telling you, do not be silent. Tell your friends. Any of you that signed up somebody, you have an obligation to send them an email, get on the phone and call them and tell them about this Freedom Train. It's freedom from the symptoms of metabolic syndrome and freedom from financial mediocrity. My goal, and I will not stop until you reach $10,000 a month. I'll be there if you'll be there. Now, I know that by you getting at $10,000 a month, that is accomplishing my other goal of getting people off metabolic syndrome. I know that because the only way you can get that $10,000 is by them taking the 3Believe products. That's why I feel good about making a financial goal for me, because it's not self-serving. It will help thousands of people. We can get more. He had 30,000 people wanting to get Russell, I'm talking about, 30,000 people a month paying $100. We can get 30,000 people buying the 3Believe product, because there's a lot more of those that want to get off of it than want to get buy a software program. Promise you. I promise you. So there is my my talk for tonight. I hope that it resonated with you. Don't waste any time. Hurry up and fill out your steps. Get it into us. And I promise you that it will be a fascinating, exciting journey. You're going to learn so much. Let me give you an example. Merv is 84 years young. He went out just barely and bought a smartphone. Now, I'm not telling you have to buy a smartphone. I'm just telling you got to have some of those requirements that are in a smartphone in order to do the things that I'm going to ask you to do in the training. No, I do not have stock in any companies of smartphones. So by asking you to buy it isn't going to raise my stock. I just want you to be prepared. So Merv went out and bought it, and he's excited now. He's learning what all those buttons on his little screen means. This is going to be an exciting time. And what a great thing that you never stop learning, right? So I'm going to turn the speaker on. Merv, did I forget anything? Did I cover it all?
You covered most of everything, Jason. Many people today asked about the cost of the program. You didn't cover that tonight, but you want to kind of cover what the cost will get enrolled?
Into the Freedom Train.
Right.
Okay, all right. Great question. Great question. All right. It's funny. I took for granted that because I didn't say the cost, that you'd figure out that for the first group, I'm not going to charge anything. The only thing is that you have to right now. It will be changing. I promise it'll be changing. But you have to be on phase 1 or phase 4. Okay, so let me rehearse that. For you to be a participant, because we'll be on a different webinar, a different address, and you have to have a special key to get in, which means I got to give you that key. And the only way I'll give you that key is that I confirm that you're on phase 1 or phase 4. So you'll be on it in week 1, on the program week 1 through week 4, and month 1, month 2, month 3. It's going to take a little bit of time to give you all this data. Every month you got to be on it to receive the content, but you should be on it anyway, right? You should be at least on phase 4. So phase 1 for $300 or phase 4 for $135 is the only requirement. Now, I will do this. I will require this, is that in the next group, you'll have to be on a phase 3. A phase 1. Because of the value of this program. Just to tell you, this program is costing us, it's hard to put a price tag on it because it's ongoing, but this stuff that we're giving you has already cost us about $25,000. And the prices keep going up, it's continuing because some of it's reoccurring every month. Yeah, this is not cheap, okay? So I've learned something, as generous as I want to be, I've learned a lesson that if you give something to somebody for free, they just do not value it. They don't care. I've given my weight program, the 3Believe program, the wellness program, to my family members for free because I love them and I want, I want to take advantage of it. It just sits on their cupboard. It's not until I charge them. So I started charging them even manufacturing costs, not even the wholesale. I give them manufacturing costs, which is much less than what they'd pay retail, right? But it was just the idea that they had to pay for something. Now they start using it. It's the craziest thing. I don't understand. But this is another thing, is that those that want to do for the business, okay, they're not interested in the 3Believe product. They don't care about the product. We will, in the next group, charge them $300 just for the program. Now, if they want to do the phase 1, they'll get the product and the training all at the same price. So it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they just go ahead and get on the product? Do you see what I'm doing there? I'm using logic to force them to overcome their symptoms of metabolic syndrome. So that's not for you. So hopefully that answers right now for this group, for the first class. All you have to do is be on phase 1 for $300 a month or phase 4 for $135. Did that answer the question, Merv?
Well, that's exciting. It's good.
Yeah. So
That's great.
I'm not going to charge you anything extra. Now, some of you, I'm going to add a little bit. Some of you may ask, well, how much is it going to cost? Because in one of the in the description, I talk about that you got to be willing to spend $1 a day, and then $5 a day, and then $10, and then $15 a day for 7 days. Okay, that's not for me. It costs money to advertise. So let me answer the next question. Well, how much will it always just be $1 or $15? It might be. It depends on where you take it. Because what I know what's going to happen is some of you are going to say, well, I want to do diabetes, and I want to do blood pressure, and I want to do a cholesterol, and I want to do fatty liver, and I want to do your home-based business. I'm going to run 5 different programs simultaneously. You'll be able to do that. Easier than it sounds once you learn how. And I want to do all of it. Well, then there's going to be multiple costs for each one. Don't worry about the cost. I will show you and instruct you and absolutely require that the program has to monetize. It has to be able to be profitable, or you don't move away from the $1 a day to the $15 a day. See, you don't start out with 15, you start with $1. And if it doesn't convert, then you don't advance, you see? And so let me answer your question this way. How much will it cost? How much will the total be? It doesn't matter how much it'll be. Because if I came to you and I said, look, here's the proof. I have undeniable bona fide proof. And you could read it, and you saw the certificates, and you saw the guarantee, and you saw, the government stand behind going, yep, if he doesn't pay up that, we'll pay it. Okay, there's your guarantee. And I said, for every $100 that you invest with me, I'll give you 120. How many $100 would you give me? Remember, every 100 you give me, I'll give you back 120. You give me $200, I give you 240. You give me $330, and I give you back 360. Okay? There's no way you can ever be upside down because I'm always bringing you back more than what you put into it, right? That's how this game will work. And that's how I'll show you how to monetize it and prove that fact. So it doesn't matter how much you'll spend. If you're spending $10,000 a month on just promotion, well, the only reason and the only way I'll let you spend $10,000 a month is because you're bringing in many times more than that. And so you'll be glad to spend $10,000 if you're bringing in 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 100,000 or more. I will tell you the multiples are more than you invest 100 and get 110 or 120 back. It's much greater than that, I promise you. So don't worry about how much it ends up being. We'll start with $1 a day. Don't worry. That answer the question there? There. Merv, did that answer?
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yep.
All right. So I hope none of you go to bed tonight. I hope you hang up from here and you go right back and you start emailing and you start calling all the people that you talked and got into 3Believe or that are looking for home-based business. Get started. And so there you go. I'm signing off. I don't have anything else to say unless there's a quick question. Anybody have a question? I must have done an excellent job. I don't hear you.
You did a very good job, Jason, and we appreciate all the work you're doing there, because it's going to help us in many ways be healthy but wealthy.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your application. All right, everybody, Merry Christmas to all of you. Give the gift that keeps on giving. All right.
Good call. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you all.
God bless.
Bye.
Good call. God bless you. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.